Oliver, Mr. Oliver's resource page. Mr. Oliver, Mr. Oliver, Mr. Oliver's resource page. Mr. Oliver, Mr. Oliver, Mr. Oliver's resource page. Oh, whoa, whoa. Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Unit 5, Lesson 10 homework. Let's get right into it. What we have here is we have 5 athletes, and they ran the men's 100 meters. And what we would like to do is use this place value chart to rank the athletes in order by fastest time. Okay, so you guys are going to do that. You're going to rank those. You're going to put them in order from 1 through 5 based off their times. Now, the good thing for me is that I don't really have to make another video because we did this in Unit 5, Lesson 9. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to send you back to Unit 5, Lesson 9 and take you back to when we did that. And then after that, we can talk about the rest of the homework. So next thing you're going to see is just a clip from Unit 5, Lesson 9. Lets you know exactly how we rank those, exactly how you rank decimals in order. All right. Work. And today was all about kind of ordering decimals, whether it's from greatest to least or least to greatest, where you take multiple decimals and you need to put them in order depending on what you're doing. So the best thing about what we're doing today is we already identified the steps to kind of order these things, and we did that with Unit 5, Lesson 5 homework. So I went ahead and just snatched those steps, and I'm probably going to put them in the corner. I don't know whether to the right or to the left. One of these corners. I'm going to put them in the corner here. But we'll just do a quick overview of those lessons. The overview of those steps real quick. First of all, you want to line up the decimal points. Add zeros to the missing digits to make sure both numbers have the same number of place values. That's what I like to call balancing the decimals. Then you start with the leftmost column and compare the digits. If the digits are the same, you keep going until you compare them until you find different digits. And when you find the different digits, you'll be able to decide which one's bigger, and we'll be able to put them in different orders. All right. Okay, so now let's apply all those steps we just went over and apply them to the following problem, because what we would like to do is order the following numbers from greatest to least. Those numbers are 1 in 857 thousandths. We have 1 in 8 tenths, 1 in 84 hundredths, and 1 in 856 thousandths. So the first thing that we want to do is put all of those numbers in our placement value chart. Okay? We put them in our placement value chart because we want to line up the decimal. It's important that everything is in its own place value. All right, and once we do that, we realize that we are going to have to add some zeros just to balance everything out. We're going to have to add 2 zeros to our 1 in 8 tenths, and then we want to put a 0 down at the end of our 1 in 84 hundredths so that we can have everything has a place value from our ones place to our thousands. So now that everything is balanced, we can go ahead and take a look at all these numbers, starting from the leftmost column. From the leftmost is our ones place. As we notice, everything in the ones place is a 1. So let's go ahead and jump to that next one. We'll go to our tenths place. We still got the same problem. Everything is still, it's all the same number. Everything is an 8. Okay, now let's go to our hundredths place. Let's see if we have any differences. And I think we see some because we have a 5 in our hundredths place. We got a 0 in our hundredths place. We have a 4 in our hundredths place. And we have a 5 in our hundredths place. So those two numbers, we know the 1 in 8 tenths is going to be the very smallest number that we have. And 1 in 84 hundredths is going to be the second smallest one. So 1 in 84 hundredths is the third largest. And 1 in 8 tenths is our very smallest one. It's the smallest number we have. So now let's see what we can do. Because we have 1 in 857 thousandths and 1 in 856 thousandths left. So now we got to look at our thousandths place and see which one's bigger. And since we have a 7 versus a 6, we know that 1 in 857 thousandths is our largest number, and 1 in 856 thousandths is our second largest number. So we got our order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead and label them, and that's where it's at. Hey, welcome back. Did you guys enjoy that? All right. Well, it's good to see you again. All right. Well, this next part of the homework, you're going to take those same 5 times with the athletes, and you're going to round each time to the nearest whole number, round each time to the nearest tenth, and round each time to the nearest hundredth. And we got a table where you can do that. You have a placement value chart below that you can use. I would recommend using that. Yeah, and another good thing is that I have a video that we did earlier, so I don't have to make any new content for this. So the next thing you're going to see is the video from Unit 5, Lesson 7, when we talked about rounding decimals, okay? In the video, we talk about how to round to the nearest whole number, we talk about how to round to the nearest tenth, and we talk about how to round to the nearest hundred. So use all those skills in the video, and I actually got the steps up there also. So use those skills, use the steps, and you shouldn't have any trouble. All right, but you do have to focus and actually look at everything going on in the video. All right, okay. Let's get right to it. Today was all about, we're like rounding decimals. Yeah, it's all about rounding decimals. So depending on what you're rounding to is going to depend on how you go about rounding those decimals. But you all know how I do. I like to give you guys some definitive steps about how we would like to go about rounding decimals in our classroom. So step 1, I would talk about identifying the place value that you need to actually round to. Sometimes you're going to be rounding the whole number, sometimes you're going to be rounding to the nearest half, sometimes you're going to be rounding to the nearest tenth or the nearest hundredth. So in this case, let's talk about rounding to the nearest whole number, just for the example that we're going to give here, which is 2 in 374 thousandths. So first thing you want to do is identify the placement value. We're rounding to the nearest whole number. So take a look at that 2, okay? Because the nearest whole numbers, it would be between 2 and 3. So, but let's take a look at that 2, because we're dealing with 2 in 374 thousandths. Now you've identified that place value. It's the ones place that we're going to be rounding to. So now take a look at that next digit. The next digit to the right that you would identify is in the tenths place. So when you look at that next digit, you want to see exactly what that digit is. In this case, it's a 3. So our next step, we need to decide whether to round up or down. And I'm kind of sure you guys have probably heard a lot of rhyming things to kind of let you know what you need to do. In this case, if that digit is 5 or more, let it soar. 5 or more, raise the score. If it's 4 or less, let it rest. Okay? So we've identified our digit as a 3. So that puts it in that rest category. So now that we've decided it's 4 or less, let it rest, we just need to round it to 2. So our last step would be to remove those remaining digits afterwards. Because now, after we've rounded, we don't care nothing about those other digits. We don't care nothing about it. So now we've rounded it to 2. Now let's go ahead and take that same number, and we could check our answer on our number line. So let's do our number line. Y'all already know. Identify our beginning and ending numbers, which in this case would be our consecutive whole numbers, which are 2 and 3. Let's divide our number line into 10 sections. Let's identify our number, which is 2 in 374 thousandths. And when you put that on our number line, it's going to be closer to 2 than it is to 3, because our midpoint would be 2 and 5/10. And when you put our number on the number line, it's closer to 2 than it is to 3. So we could use our number line to actually check our answer. All right, now let's round 2 and 374 thousandths to the nearest tenth. All right, this is going to be a little different. The first time we rounded to the nearest whole number. So now let's round to the nearest tenth, but we're going to use the same steps. So we're going to identify the placement value. Now instead of whole numbers, this time round to the nearest tenth. So we're considered with the tenths place. So we're going to take a close look at this 3 in the tenths place. Now we started out with that 3 and we look to that next digit to the right. All right. So now we're concerned with that next digit, which is a 7, and that's going to determine where we round that 3. Are we going to round that 3 to a 3 or a 4? So now we're concerned with that 7, and we're going to round up or down based on where it is. And that 7 is over a 5. And when it's 5 or more, we let it soar. So that 7 is going to make our 3 round up to a 4. And after that, we're going to remove our remaining digits. All right, and let's go ahead and check that again with our number line. Let's check it with our number line. So this time, it's a little different with our number line because we're not rounding to the whole number. So our beginning and ending numbers are going to be based off our tenths. So our beginning number would be 2 3/10, and our ending number would be 2 4/10. And we can go ahead and mark our number 2 374 thousandths. We could locate that between 2 and 3 and 4, 2 3/10 and 2 4/10. And when we mark it, we'll notice that it's closer to 2 4/10, which reinforces what we did earlier with our estimation. All right, now let's round that same number, 2 374 thousandths, to the nearest hundredth. Same process, y'all, just a little different. Identify the placement value. In this place is going to be the hundredths. So our first look is at our 7, which is in the hundredths place. So then we go from that 7, because that's the one we're either going to round, we're either going to keep it at 7, or we're going to round it up to 8. So we need to look to that next digit, which is a 4. We look to that digit, it's a 4. Ooh, I'm sorry. And a 4 or less, let it rest. So we're going to let that 7 rest. So we're going to round it to 2 37 hundredths and remove the remaining digits. Let's check that with our number line. And like we said, we're rounding to the nearest hundred. So our beginning number is going to be 2 37 hundredths. And then our ending number is going to be 2 38 hundredths. And when we place our number, 2 374 thousandths, in between those, it's closer to 2 37 hundredths. So we know we're right.
4 tenths, hundredths, thousands, to the right, tenths, hundredths, thousands, placement value, tenths, hundredths, thousands, to the right, tenths, hundredths, thousands, placement value, tenths, hundredths, thousands, to the right, tenths, hundredths, thousands, placement value, tenths, hundredths, thousands, to the right, tenths, hundredths, thousands, placement value. 1 tenth equals 10 hundredths equals 100 thousands. Yeah, we getting. 1 tenth equals 10 hundredths equals 100 thousands. Yeah, we getting money. 1 tenth equals 10 hundredths equals 100 thousands. Yeah, we getting. 1 tenth equals 10 hundredths equals 100 thousands. Yeah, we getting money. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, to the right, tenths, hundredths, thousands, placement value, tenths, hundredths, thousands, to the right,